Welcome back to our new Anno 1800 series. We're playing with crazy mods and a custom map. All of the AIs are a lot stronger, we have a lot of new ships like submarines or aircraft carriers, and we also have new tiers of population. And finally I created myself a custom map to make sure that we have a unique experience. I've pinned the list of all of the mods in the Anno 1800 channel of my Discord. Don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you want to see the link to join the community. And of course in the video description below you can also find the link to the playlist with all of the episodes for this series if you want to make sure that you start from scratch. Let's go back to our empire. Welcome to episode 33. In the last episode we managed to defeat our second AI opponent. Princess Queen is no more. So today in this episode, spoiler alert, we're not gonna have so much war. I'm not gonna be at war with Bente right away. We're gonna focus on our empire. But I have a lot of exciting things to dive into. So let's go. The first one is that we actually ended the last episode with almost no influence left, right? So simple but efficient, I created a new influence boost island. It's not even finished, but as you can see, we have already quite a bit of influence. It's the same as the first one, you create a town hall, you put some item into the town hall that are going to give you attractiveness per chapel, you build a couple of chapel, and with that, you're going to reach 1000 of attractiveness. This is the important piece, because with 1000 of attractiveness, you can unlock this over here, local assembly hacienda quarters above the rank of jornaleros, so it also works with artista, by the way, produce influence. And then you just build a number of obreras, right? We have obreras there, you start over here, then you expand slowly but surely. As you can see now, my range is already reaching quite high, so we can put a lot more than this. So slowly but surely, we're going to continue building them, adding from time to time a couple of things like chapels over here, a hospital, or a fire station, so that those things don't burn too often. They will burn, but not too often. And yeah, as I said, we're just gonna continue building and building, expanding this city to bring us more and more influence. Now talking about Obrera, I actually also extended over here. Those two lines over here used to be jornaleros, now they are obreros to make sure that we have a lot, because I needed a lot more obreros for new production. What production, I ask you say? Well, there's a lot of production in the new world, but before, let's go into the old world. First of all, a couple of episodes ago, we unlocked the drugstore, but we didn't actually build it. Now I have built it, it's over here, 240 artisans, it is working perfectly. Right now I only have one of the 3 recipes, but it's still a good one. Minus 25% for the pocket watches, minus 10% for the sewing machine. We're increasing income by 6% and happiness by 1. So can't complain, this is helpful. And this is given to my engineers, you can see it over here, but also to my investor level 5, you see it over here. So we're happy with that, we have given them 1 good. But that's not all, right? We're also needing to give them violin. Violin is actually good for many. We need it for my engineers, we need it for my investors, and we also need it for the modded artista level 2 over here. Alright, so we needed some violin. Not too many to be honest, but we needed some. So that's what we're doing over here. We have the artisans workshop, violins, taking some steel. We're making a lot of steel, that's not a problem. Also a bit of cherry wood. I'm not actually sure we're making enough cherry wood. I'm gonna check that with you right away. Cherry wood over here, yeah, we're making just enough, but actually I see that on the resin we're just below, because this one is not at 100%, so that's why. Okay, can we boost that a bit maybe? Something like this. Perfect, now we're above. So anyway, as I was saying, some steel and some cherry wood and some more lacquer. So we're already making lacquer, but actually we are not making enough. So now I have a second one over here, right? Taking some quartz, some resin we just saw, and some ethanol. So even more ethanol from the new world. Oh, you may have also realized over here I placed 2 buildings. This is the modded fire brigade or fire station. It has a road in the middle and fire is very high. On top of this, riot is also very high. But this is the prison, right? If anybody does something they shouldn't, let's send them there. Beautiful mod, love it. Now there's even prisoners over here. So with those 2, we completed the engineers, right? The engineers were done. But for my investors, we still need 1 more, the toys. They're very scary, I know, but yeah, some toys that are over here. Artisan workshop toys. Taking, again, a bit of lacquer. That's why we needed a lot. Celluloid. So I had to also boost the celluloid production in the new world, I'll show you in a second. And on top of that, a bit more felt. We were already producing and bringing that over here, so it wasn't too hard. So actually, to be honest, in terms of transport, it wasn't so hard. The only hard thing was we needed to boost a lot of those production. But with that, we made some toys, and we have also finished the basic needs for our investors. Right? So we're good over here. All of the basic needs, that's great. All of the happiness needs too, right? So the only thing remaining is the lifestyle need. For lifestyle need, we were still missing the fans, which you can see I've done, and we were also missing the film rims, which I've started, but they haven't arrived yet, I guess. So those two were needed for the investors. For the engineers, it was actually medicine, which you can see is over here. And for the artisan, it was the scooters, which we've also done. So again, a lot of production for me to show you in the new world. Let's go back to it. First of all, over here, as I said, we had to boost again the ethanol production. We have new production over there, which meant we needed more wood and more corn, right? So I had to boost that. We have more wood coming. And for the corn, instead of putting even more, we've put some new items. Let me actually show you. Without those 3 items, we're talking about a production of corn that is only 15. Now let's put the 3 items and let me show you the boost in production, because plus 40%, plus 50%, plus 50%. That's really cool. And we move to 43. So really with that, we're set. Not for long, but we're set right now. So that was for more ethanol production, but we also needed more celluloid production, right? That is using this ethanol, on top of it also using cotton. So we had to boost the cotton production, I'll show you in a second. And we also had to use the CAM4, which is all of these ones over here, right? We used to only have 2, I think, or 3. Now we have all of these there. So we definitely boost that, 14 now. That's a pretty good one. And as I said, we also needed more cotton. So that's what we have over here now. It's quite a lot of cotton, because this is basic, right? There's no silo, there's no tractors, we don't even have, items for all of these. So that's why you need quite a lot. Doing football championships, world level, of course, from time to time, always good. Let's check in terms of influence, 1,400 from those championships. I can't complain, right? But now we're also giving those resources to my artista, of course, right? The fans and the scooters are given there before we send them to the old world. And also over here, we have the cinema. The cinema over here has started. Let's actually go maybe check it out. Here it is. Showing tonight, Howling at the Moon. Okay, that's scary. What else can we see over here? King Kano. It's like King Kong if you don't want to be copyright. And the name of the cinema, Llama Drama. Love it. The big hit that will make you spit. Sure. So it is the cinema. Unfortunately, we cannot go inside. There's also a small bug over here. We can see the sky. That's not normal. But yes, pretty cool. We now have a cinema over here that's working. It is using film realm though. So we had to build that. Let me show you all of those new production. First of all, the film realm, as I just mentioned, is using salpetre that we're producing on the island already, and the celluloid that we're bringing from the island next door. This is working, and this is enough for what we need. Then we have started over here. We have 2 of those motor assembly plants, right? Creating some motors. Not the steam motors from the old world, these are new ones, which require electric cables, celluloid, and steel. The steel comes from the old world. I just boosted my production in the old world and sent it over here. Celluloid comes from next door, and the electric cables we are making over here. We need 2 of these, and look at this, is pretty cool building. Those things moving. Where you need some copper coming from the old world and some caoutchouc coming from next door. You may be wondering why I have all of those production here and not next door, by the way, when you see that, I'm bringing things from other islands. It's because of the electricity. Thanks to this magnificent dam over here, we have electricity for the whole island, right? So we better use it. We have electricity, and so as I said, with that, we can make some motors. Then those motors are going to go into those 2 buildings. One over here to make scooters. Right, we have the motors, and then we have pigments, and we have caoutchouc again. So the caoutchouc coming from next door, pigments I'll show you in a second, and the motors we just saw. And then for the fan, it's actually quite easy. It's just the motor and the aluminium. We were already making tons of aluminium over here, so that's done. And so the last remaining was the pigment. right? Pigment is a bit of saltpeter again that we're producing over here, plus some minerals. Minerals, this is one of those new mines. We actually have 3 on the island. So you can see this is the one I built over here. No problem, 120 obreros. Speaking about cost, some of those buildings do cost quite a lot. For example, the scooter factory, it's almost 2,000 coins, right? So remember that because we're gonna talk about money soon. But before we do, the last that we created over here is the medicine. The medicine is actually a new good that was introduced with the Artista to be used into your city hospital, right? This is the advanced hospital. You can either build directly in terms of advanced, or you can build a normal one and then upgrade it, right? If you want to upgrade it, you can into an advanced one. But for the advanced one to work, you need medicine. Now for the medicine, it's even more ethanol. Okay, it's even more ethanol, so we're bringing that. Then it's herbs that we are bringing already from the old world. I did have to increase that production though. And lastly, the orchids. The orchids we are making over here. This was my orchid corner, you know, those beautiful flowers. Before we were only sending it to the second island, you know, production. Now I've extended the route to also go to Manor Lords, and with that we are bringing enough to make medicine. And so then I had to obviously create a couple of routes. For example, we have this one over here, bringing the copper and the steel, and then sending some fans and some scooters to the other islands. So let's move this one into New World to Old World. Then we have this one transporting some celluloid and some ethanol to my capital. So this is intra New World. I think we created it last time, but I extended it. So let me just show it to you. You know, we're taking, for example, some cotton to Manor Lords and sending it to a production island. Then in the production island, we're taking the felt and we're taking a lot of celluloid, sending all that to the capital. And then we're bringing back the billiard table for my Artista on the capital Manor Lords as a lifestyle good. So this one is also going into, you know, New World, Old World. Now to make all of this work, we also had to significantly increase our mining outputs. If you see the iron, for example, or even the copper and the zinc, this has increased significantly. So all of these small islands in the old world that used to be Princess Queen, you know, now I have started to use them, usually doing the same where you have small trade union with a couple of items, couple of those buildings, you push all of the working conditions to the max, and with that, you know, a small island without nothing, you're producing some resources. It's not huge, but it's good. And you can see, you know, we have a couple, we have this one and that one, which are, for example, this island over here too, and also I think over there, and also over here. So a couple of islands, right? And then we're sending all of these resources to my main island over here. So with all of that, we're making more money because, for example, this is bringing me 345 coins. This one, 157, right? Lifestyle need 2. This is 75. Okay, we're still missing this one, but it's not really gonna change my message. But at the same time, as I said, those productions are also costing a lot of money. And on top of that, of course, I've continued to grow the fleet, right? We need to try to catch up to Bente. We have definitely increased. I think in the last episode we are at 1,100. Now we're almost at 1,500. But she is also still continuing to grow. So we can't stop there. And all of those ships are costing a lot of money. So first of all, when I say a lot of those ships, I mean, look at this. Yeah, this is growing, slowly but surely growing. For example, I think we have 5 aircraft carrier over here. Each of them is almost 5,000. So you can see why we are negative. It's not the end of the world. I'm not worried like I need to fix that tomorrow because we're negative like minus 5,000. I have more than 22 million in the bank. So we don't need to solve it tomorrow, but we definitely need to solve it, right? Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to continue really growing more and more the fleet. I mean, look at this balance over here. Warships, $182,000 per minute. This is huge. It's crazy. And we need a lot more if we want to really catch up with her, right? So we need to grow. How are we going to do that? Well, I have a surprise for you guys. I'm going to jump a bit into time and hopefully this is going to change. Just remember that we're now at 150,000 people and we are at minus 5,000 with our investor bringing around 430,000, our engineers bringing around 240,000. Let's jump into the future. So it is, ladies and gentlemen, our population is growing. We're already at 130,000, more than 130,000, and our money has jumped, right? Remember, we used to make on only 200,000 for engineers. Now we're making more than 500,000. Of course, this came with higher royal taxes, but it put us into positive. How did we do that? This is thanks to the panorama effect, right? We used to have panorama effect on a couple of buildings over here, like those content engineers level 3, but all the ones that were level 1 and 2, they had basically no panorama or little panorama, which means that the income that you are making was way lower. For example, this one is 1,200. When you jump to one that has a good panorama effect, you're talking about 5,000. So you want to try to get a good panorama effect, because houses with an intense panorama effect give you a plus 15% in your income, right? But so how do we get a lot of houses with panorama effect? Well, what I'm going to show you is something that I've called in one of my previous videos a bug, but the Ubisoft team, and in particular Oliver as the community manager, has said multiple times that this was intended. So if it's intended, I'm gonna use it. Basically, remember that for panorama effect, if you want intense panorama effect, you're supposed to be the tallest building around. Now to get this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have rows of engineers next to rows of investors, and then engineers, investors, and again and again. All of these are gonna be at level 3. So basically, if you look like this, to me, they are at the same level. But if you look like this, they're basically all getting the intense, because what happens is that the investors think they're higher than the engineers, and the engineers think they're higher than the investors, which again, to me, means not possible, it's a bug. But Ubisoft says it's normal, so let's use it. So basically doing that, we're gonna have every single houses with an intense panorama. Of course, this is not perfect, and this is why my numbers are fluctuating over here, because now that I'm increasing the number of inhabitants, the number of population, and all of this, and also, that I have a lot more houses that need things like chewing gum, biscuit, etc., I don't have enough productions. If you look over here, we have now many productions, like canned food is not enough, fur coat is not enough, etc. So I'm gonna have to fix that. It's also going to take a bit more time, because each of these takes 10 windows, 15 steel, 5 reinforced concrete, and 5 elevators. So frankly, yeah, I'm out of those resources right now. But don't worry, I'm gonna do that between the 2 episodes. So when we start the next episode, I should be able to show you this perfect with, only level 3s everywhere. Maybe we'll keep a couple of level 5 just for the fun of it, and all of the production needed. With this, we should reach probably around 150,000 of population, and definitely a lot of money. Even if, of course, we continue to increase our fleet, we're already getting closer to 200,000 over here. So yeah, I'll continue developing that, and I'll show you in the next episode. Please smash the like button. Don't hesitate also to share if you have any thoughts, comments. And if you want to contribute, for example, to help me get a better microphone or to have more games to showcase on the channel, don't hesitate to check the first link in the video description below to my Patreon page. A lot of cool advantage if you want to join. And talking about Patreon, as we just launched, you can see on the screen already the people that have joined. I know it's not a lot so far because we just launched in the previous episode, but still a huge thanks to them all. A huge thanks to all of you watching, and I hope to see you next time.